Whether you're watching, listening or reading this, welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog. We're on a mission to raise £1 million for children's charities by run vlogging on consecutive days the distance of one lap around the world. It is a staggering 40,075 kilometres in total, and it's going to take somewhere in the region of 11 years to accomplish, so plenty of time to raise the money. I'm going to commit to running whilst vlogging a minimum of 5 kilometres every single day, and I'll even do it barefoot style. So for those regulars will know that when I vlog about my passions, which are entrepreneurship and running, and most importantly how these topics link together to help people overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise as a release mechanism. Now, it's a beautiful morning today. It's ridiculously hot. It's in the 20s and it's about 8:30 in the morning, so sun is out. Tough running conditions, but the sun is out, so it always puts a smile on my face. And it's Monday motivation today, where we talk about all things productivity and motivation based. And today's topic is hyperfocus and scatterfocus, the differences between the two and how they work together. So as always, please give this challenge some support by subscribing, liking and sharing the content, and let's get started. So, hyperfocus and scatterfocus. Firstly, what is it? Okay, well, there's two main types of focus when we, mental states of mind ultimately. So, we can either be laser-like focused on a singular task, which is what we call hyperfocus, where we're so fixated on a set task, we give it our full, undying attention. And then you've got scatterfocus, which is like, creativity. Your mind's up in the clouds. You're focusing on 100 different things simultaneously. It's like the multitasking element. And people often say, well, which is more important? You get some people in the multitasking camp that say, oh yeah, I'm so productive, I get so many more things done by multitasking. And you get others that go on about, oh, I'm laser-like focused, I can get huge progress done because I see a job through to the finish and I give it my undying attention. Well, the ultimate answer from my perspective is they're both equally as important as one another, because you can't get by without one or the other. And when you start understanding how they sync together and how they work together, you start getting a better understanding of how they can benefit your productivity levels. I was much more in the hyper-focus camp. I've never been good at multitasking. You can probably tell the amount of times I do my vlog whilst running, my mind can often wander into random directions and I generally waffle at times. But that's not to say it's not really, really important, because I'm in a state of scatter focus during my runs. And hyper-focus is definitely where you make more progress, because you've heard of the phrase or the quote, a jack of all trades and a master of none. Well, that's referring to this whole multitasking, scatter focus approach, where you can be competent at so many things, but you'll never be great at anything because your mind is too dispersed across multiple different tasks simultaneously. Whereas hyperfocus gives you that laser-like attention, and it means that you're fully focused on producing something that's truly great when you're focusing on a task. You're looking for the best possible outcome for that particular task because it's got your sole focus. So here's the downsides of hyperfocus though. It's amazing for productivity because if providing you focus your hyperfocus on the most important tasks in your life, in your business, whatever, then you will make the most progress because you're giving the most important things the most attention. Okay, but what people don't realise is hyperfocus, you only have a certain amount of it. It's like a battery, and when you wear it down, it's draining. Too much hyperfocus is severely draining because you're so attentive or focused on something, your mind fatigues, just like your brain fatigues, just like any other muscle in your body does. It's really hard work today. I'm feeling, after a long run yesterday, I'm fatigued, so I'm having to run slower today to try and get through this. But in the same regard, your brain fatigues. And when you're focusing really hard on something really important under the hyper-focus state. And when you understand that, scatterfocus is so important, because if you look at the battery, your hyper-focus will start at X and it will go down, okay? And then it's during scatterfocus, your brain's actually taking a break. You might think, oh, he's doing more, but it's not. It's actually relaxing and recharging. So whilst I'm doing this today, although it feels like really hard work, my brain's actually finding this easier than if I was focusing on a business plan of some kind, or getting ready for a pitch of some kind, or a big important investor meeting, you know, where I'd be laser-like focused on that task. My brain would find that more fatiguing than what I'm doing now. So in actual essence, what I'm doing now is recharging my hyper-focus battery by using scatterfocus. And I think when you understand that, how it works, you realise that you can't be amazing with hyperfocus unless you're fully aware of the need to have scatterfocus. And that's why we talk a lot about kind of regular break schedules and things. I mean, this today, it doesn't feel like much of a break, but it's a break for my brain. So it might be listening to music, it might be reading, it might be yoga, it might be whatever it is. It's a break for your brain. And when I say a break, your brain never has a break. It's as much of a break as it's going to get, because it also has to control your body and do so many different things simultaneously. But that is easy for your brain. It's when you give it super focused attention on something, that's when it starts to struggle and feel the fatigue. So it's really important you kind of understand this. And the best people you'll see, the most productive people, will have blocks of hyperfocus and then sandwiched between blocks of scatterfocus. So this is scatterfocus this morning. I woke up this morning, I felt a bit fatigued and frazzled. I'm not a typical morning person. I'm still feeling fairly fatigued, but I can tell you now, by the time of the end of this run, my muscles might be tired, my brain will be recharged and ready to go. And I've found there's no coincidence over the past, year of doing this running vlog, which is my release mechanism or scatterfocus break, if you like, that it's allowed me to recharge my hyperfocus levels every single day before I start. And it means that I start the day firing on all cylinders, and I often get so much more done than I would have ever got done historically. And that's probably why, that's definitely why I've made more progress in the last year of doing this running vlog than I have done in the previous 5. So hopefully there's enough proof that this stuff really works. So hopefully that helps you. So I've explained what hyperfocus, what scatterfocus is. I've explained how they work together, our relationship between them. I've explained how I use them in my life to maximum benefit. Okay, so hopefully there's enough conclusive reasons why you need to be being aware of this, and how you can use these tools or this knowledge to spearhead and supercharge your productivity levels. Because believe you me, if you get this right, your productivity levels can often double, just by understanding this. Prime example, today I feel sluggish, lethargic. If I didn't come out and do this, okay, I would be sluggish and lethargic at home. So when I start work, I'd be sluggish and lethargic. By doing this scatterfocus, this release mechanism to clear my head and recharge my hyperfocus level, it allows me to get back, have a shower, feel great, start work with a fully charged hyperfocus battery, which means that first stint of hyperfocus, or whatever happens throughout the day, it's always going to be far more productive than it would have been had I not done it. So that's the power of understanding hyperfocus and scatterfocus, the relationship between the two, how they work in synchronization with one another, and understanding that allows you to use it to your advantage. So I hope that's useful. That's all I'm going to say today. So as always, if you have any questions on this stuff, drop me a comment. I'll respond to everyone. If it's a bigger question, I'll do a separate vlog episode and I'll tag you in. Do check out the links in my bios where you can find out more about my challenge of raising £1 million for children's charities by run vlogging on consecutive days the distance of one lap around the world. And all that's left to say is that my content about entrepreneurship and running has always been about how it links together to help people overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm, and anxiety by using exercise, in my case run vlogging, as a release mechanism. So what is the release mechanism? Well, we all experience daily, weekly pressures in the form of stress, and it's often how we clear our heads, how we process what's gone on, how we gain clarity, how we refocus and clear our heads to be able to move on. It can be a determining factor between how successful or unsuccessful we are. That is a release mechanism. Now, I get mine through run vlogging or running. Other people use different forms of exercise. Other people use yoga, listening to music, walks. There are countless ways that you can develop your release mechanism, but without one, that pressure will build and build and build, like pressure builds in a pipe. And if you don't release it at stress level, it will evolve into overwhelm. Overwhelms when you have too many things going on. You don't know where to start, you don't know where to focus, you almost have a seizure and you freeze and you procrastinate. And then very, very quickly, that pressure can evolve even further to panic and anxiety. At that stage, using the pipe analogy, the pressure gets so extreme it bursts. At that point, you have a mental breakdown. And believe you me, you don't want that to experience that. I've experienced it before. I've lost multiple businesses because of it. I've lost business partners, and I've almost been bankrupt because of these exact issues. And there's no coincidence that in the last 13 or so months now of doing this running vlog, which is my release mechanism, I've made more progress in all facets of my life than I have done in the previous 5 years. So I hope there's enough social proof that this stuff really works. And in addition to that, I've also helped hundreds of entrepreneurs over the years through different businesses manage these exact issues. So my pledge to you, if you are struggling with this, drop me a message, okay? There's no catch here. The Runpreneur vlog is not for profit, okay? We raise money for children's charities, but that's always optional, never essential. The content, value and help that I provide is always free of charge. So if you need help with this, drop me a message and we'll send you a step-by-step guide on how we can get you back, how we can find your release mechanism and get you back onto the right path to success, to whatever that looks like to you. So don't miss out on that. If you need it, help is there. It's often free of charge. You just have to be prepared to ask for it. And it's often easier asking a stranger than nearest and dearest. So that's it for me today. All that's left to say is stay positive, stay happy, and I will see you tomorrow.